John 2:12 through 25. Then Jesus went to the town of Capernaum. His mother and brothers and his followers went with him. They all stayed there a few days. It was almost the time for the Jewish Passover, so Jesus went to Jerusalem. There in the temple area, he saw men selling cattle, sheep, and doves. He saw others sitting at tables exchanging and trading people's money. Jesus made a whip with some pieces of rope. Then he forced all of these men and the sheep and the cattle to leave the temple area. He turned over the tables of the money traders and scattered their money. Then he said to those who were selling pigeons, "Take these things out of here. Don't make my Father's house a place for buying and selling." When this happened, his followers remembered what was written in the Scriptures. "My strong devotion to your temple will destroy me." Some Jews said to Jesus, "Show us a miracle as a sign from God. Prove that you have the right to do these things." Jesus answered, "Destroy this temple, and I will build it again in 3 days." They answered, "People worked 45 years to build this temple. Do you really believe you can build it again in 3 days?" But the temple Jesus meant was his own body. After he was raised from death, his followers remembered that he had said this. So they believed the Scriptures, and they believed the words Jesus said. Jesus was in Jerusalem for the Passover festival. Many people believed in him because they saw the miraculous signs he did. But Jesus did not trust them because he knew how all people think. He did not need anyone to tell him what a person was like. He already knew.
Cleaning day. Daryl, I am tired of finding your shoes and your toys all over the house, my mom called out not too gently. It was cleaning day and she was trying to put the house in order, and this certainly was not the order that she'd been thinking of. On cleaning day, I often found my shoes and scattered toys on the back porch. Usually she would place everything in a nice, neat pile on the back porch. One day, I knew she had had enough when I witnessed her sweeping my prized possessions out the back door. I had turned her ordered home into a den of childish clutter once too often. And she let me know it with a swish of her broom that changes were coming.
Why did Jesus clean out the temple? The temple represented where God resided in the Jewish nation. This is why Jesus called its Father's house. But the people were making a mockery of God's house by buying and selling, generally turning it into a market. In Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Jesus says they are turning the house of prayer into a den of robbers, indicating that crookedness was also occurring within its walls. The people had forgotten about the true worship and the real purpose and meaning of Passover. They had turned it into a money-making business and, like the wedding party at Cana, they had become drunk on watered-down religion. They had dishonored God by dishonoring his house. Later, in John 4, when Jesus speaks to the woman at the well, he tells her that a time is coming when worship won't be done just in Jerusalem at the temple. Worship will become what God has always desired it to be.
In spirit and in truth.
It will take place wherever Messiah's followers gather. Jesus said in Matthew 18:20,
If 2 or 3 people are together believing in me, I am there with them.
What was the point Jesus was making by throwing out these people who were making money in the temple? First, Jesus showed his authority at the beginning of his ministry. Second, John placed the story of the temple fracas, brawl, right after turning the water into wine. There was a change in the air, from the old to the new, from good to the best, from the earthly kingdom to a spiritual one, the kingdom of God. In John 18:36,
Jesus said, My kingdom does not belong to this world. If it did, my servants would fight so that I would not be handed over to the Jewish leaders. No, my kingdom is not an earthly one.
After being confronted by the Jews about his authority in purging the temple of bad actors, Jesus said in verse 19,
"Destroy this temple, and I will build it again in 3 days."
He was de-emphasizing the temple of stone and emphasizing the temple of his body. The temple, a stone structure, was destroyed by the Romans in AD 70 and has never been rebuilt. But the body of Jesus, a mortal form that both Romans and Jews thought had been destroyed, was raised on the third day as Jesus predicted. This miraculous resurrection, a testimony to the power of God, would symbolically be identified as the church.